This week on Wook Tank, we have fan submissions. First up in the tank is Mr. C.
Hello, Sharks. My name is Mr. C, and I am here seeking a $420,000 investment for 69% equity in my company, wook+live. That's right, wook+live. You know, when you've been really jamming out, raging in the lawn to that incredible tweezer jam or that vultures jam, and what do you know it, the friends next to you are wooing. They're wooing, and you just don't know what to do, but I tell you, friends, I've got something for you. It's wook+live. Wook+live. That's right, friends. I wrote a little rap song that I think will really convince you to invest in wook+live. Let me get it started for you. I'm Mr. C, and I'm not a chomper. Yeah, I love these wook+live. The jams are clear. They block out the woos. Oh yeah, I read it in the news. They said extra, extra, read all about it. Wooks are wooing and don't you doubt it. Even during tweezer and vultures too. But with my wook+live, I'm oblivious fool. So order the plugs that you need the most, because before you know it, they'll be wooing and ghost. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. I will be accepting your offers now.
The first thing I'd like to know is, how are your sales?
Good question. Well, I gave away a bunch of dicks this year, so I guess nothing yet.
So what's been the customer response to these wook+live?
Excellent question. Well, I went to Dick's this year and handed them out to a lot of people and was looking for a few of those wooks to reply or to comment on my website, but I have yet to be able to have those wooks do that, as they are wooks.
Exactly how does it just block out woos?
Well, it is a proprietary process, and I can show you the specs once we get this deal made.
Okay, if I take on face everything that you're saying, then my next question is, how many shows have you seen?
I went to Dick's this year and was giving them out. Fred Fest, you know, Goose and Mowdown.
So you ready to go into production?
Yes, I have found some online distributing in China. Yes, for very, very cheap.
Break down the numbers for me. What's this going to cost?
Yeah, we can produce them for around 69 cents a piece, and we've been charging them retail $4.29 so far.
I like to think of my money like a tight jam. It builds, it builds, it builds, boom, it's raining money. If your idea were a jam, it would be drift while you're sleeping. And for that reason, I'm out.
Oh, well, thank you for hearing me out. I appreciate you.
Nope. I like my woos. That's a no from me.
Oh, darn it. All right. Well, thank you for listening.
Your product is complete shit, but I like your personality. I want to go into business with you. It's a yes from me.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I made the deal. I made the deal. Thank you so much. All right.
wook+live.
Welcome back to wook+live.
Some of our best work. Some of our best work.
Oh my god, man, that was so much fun.
Thank you,
Got new
fam.
props, new characters.
Fam has the most brilliant idea, and I only hope that we really get it to market one day.
wook+live. That's right. We'll have that up on wookplus.com under merch.
They'll be branded. They'll have a little W on them.
You can also really get a shirt or beanie, and someday wook+live.
Backslash. Hit that backslash.
First of all, I gotta say I loved the rap, and second of all, the little Cassie that thing is
The frozen. It's frozen. It's a Frozen keyboard.
This was actually put out by Moog, but it was also they put Elsa on it, right, to kind of just really give it. Elsa was hot at that time, Frozen, right, and Moog wanted to get on board. So
Does it automatically play that The Cold Doesn't Bother Me anyway when you just hit the button? It just automatically goes into that song.
It does.
He pre-programmed that. Dr. Dre did that track for him.
Right, here we go. Let it go, let it go. I am one. Oh, okay. I'm gonna turn that off. Put that down.
What the fuck? Holy shit! No, but if you want to pitch an idea to the book tank, let us know.
Yeah.
You can just call us on our hotline. So that'd be great if you could pitch your ideas.
Well, I'm blinded by CK5 there.
Right, double. I think they need to be on either side flanking.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I wanted to talk to Llama though, because this past weekend he saw some live music too. I wanted him to tell us about it. Llama, who'd you go see? Okay. Should we tell him?
Nuh-uh.
No. That's awesome.
Fuck yeah, man. And he got naked?
Yeah. Oh, no shit.
Damn. Naked guy at Nathaniel Radcliffe. Nathaniel.
Oh, you got that? How'd you make that up? Damn,
I
kid,
read
you're good at lip reading. Anyway,
This is clever. I like that with the line through it. That's pretty good. He's got like the line through the wood.
so there's a lot going on in this scene. I guess one thing I wanted to acknowledge or bring up, not that I have anything to say, but Mo is a very big part of my jam band upbringing, and I have so much love for that band. And Chuck, if you haven't heard, Chuck Garvey had a stroke over the weekend. I think he's going to be all right, and everything's should be fine. I don't know if there's been an update, but I just wanted to
The 1 year I went to Bonnaroo, Sonic Youth played, Flaming Lips, a lot of good bands. I don't even remember. Oh, Allman Brothers and James Brown headlined the one day. But No played at 11 in the morning after Warren did a 10 a.m. acoustic set. So you're spun from the night before, and they did like a 30-minute buster. And I was like, I love these guys. Because
they kept the energy up the entire time, I bet, too.
The bass player, didn't he get cancer or something like that?
Yeah, Rob did a couple of years ago.
So
they've had a string of bad luck.
We love Chuck so much, and Mo we've personally here in this family, we are a very big Mo family. I know, Tim, we've talked about it a bunch, being big Mo heads personally. And like my wife is Mo, like fish is
full Moron.
Special
Correct.
kind of woman loves Mel.
Right. I'll give you a quick story just as a tribute to Chuck. One time we're hanging out. It was a Mo Humphreys twin bill, and they were doing these really cool shows where they would do what was called a split squad, where they would split the bands up, right? And so this was prior to, before they were going to do that. That's basically, that was after Mo's set. That was kind of how they were closing the thing. And Mo is standing outside in the crowd watching Humphreys. Okay. And in Casey, Mo could just stand pretty much out there and be left alone, in some ways. Like,
except for your wife.
Hey, guys, what's up?
For your wife.
Literally, right. Literally Chuck, Al, Vinny, all of them standing out there. Right. So I'm kind of like, I'm a little bit shy. You'll never guess, but every once in a while. And I send my wife, and I'm like, I have my little set list book, which actually has this on the front of it. And I'm like, hey, we just go have him sign it, right? So my wife proceeds to go over there. Literally,
you sent her over to sign it?
Correct. I'm a really solid guy. Yeah. Well,
get on that white horse, man.
Whatever it was, she goes over there and tells me the story, or tells them the story about how I was kind of nervous to go over there and everything else. And so,
good for her.
Yes. And so Chuck himself actually wrote this right here, which says, "Don't be a vag all your life."
Nice.
Chuck Garvey. Al, yeah, there you go. Al actually. Al, that's Al right there who drew that wonderful picture, and then you can see what the other guys wrote as well. But there you go, Chuck. We love you. We love you. We love
You're
you,
a
Chuck.
pussy.
That's funny. Hey,
It's
Llama,
amazing.
what do
And
you
you
what do
did
you
that
think
on
about Mo?
international. You did that on international television. You know, somebody screenshotted that.
Kev,
shit.
I'm trying to hear Llama tell us what he thinks. Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, no, I think I agree with all of you guys. Much love to Mo and much
You-
love to Chuck. I don't know why
Can
we
I-
keep talking about Mo as if he's the guy, but like the whole band,
Can I
because they're
give
doing
one
it together.
Can I give a shout out to Mel? That they are the only band that covers the Radiators that I know of.
Didn't Panic just cover the Radiators?
Drink.
Did they?
Yeah, like
Nice
recently,
mug.
like Halloween, I think.
Oh, real? I have to look that up. Nuh-uh.
Yeah,
Um,
Super fan didn't know that. Kev, get on
the
it.
Rads are big again. Yes, it's your time. Bring out the degenerate crew.
Do you remember when we had Rob do a cameo on the channel? That was awesome.
Friends
was
of the
fantastic.
show, Mo? We can say that. Rob,
Mo,
yeah.
friends, yeah.
Friends of the
Anyway,
show.
I don't know if I didn't want to talk about this all night. I think there's a lot of other stuff to talk about.
Can I throw something
Yeah,
out?
Kev, go for it, buddy.
Is it now Goose 2.0 because Fish jumped a 0.0?
Why would they be tethered to Fish's movements?
Because the theory is if you have to stop playing because of the quarantine, you've become another 0.0.
But they didn't stop playing. They actually soldiered through it in some ways, probably more than any band. They continued to play literally live
That's
stream.
true.
Right? So they did the bingo tour. They did a bunch of other things. We should. I imagine Llama's got a good idea about this. Mama's a big Goose fan, so I imagine he's coming out and saying, "What'd you say, Llama? Oh yeah, yeah, no, exactly."
I
No,
wonder
that's a
how
great-
many
that's a great
topics we
point.
could talk about
He nailed that.
without
But no,
avoiding the
but- no,
temptation.
But seriously, here would be my.
He's gonna want
argument
to
about
jump
that.
in.
You can't get out of Goose 1.0 because you ultimately are still there.
It's the most
fucking over
animated
Llama.
Llama's ever been.
He does have a really good. Remember,
Dude, he's
his
really
good
coming
line?
out of his shell this episode.
He's got a really good line about Goose. Remember though, that he wants to say right now. We got to get him out into it.
Llama, you want to get your big line out?
Exactly. That's what
Oh,
I've been
that's a
saying the whole
classic.
time. That's what I've been saying. It changes you. Trey doing the beacon thing changed him. Goose doing the bingo tour changed them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a decent point. I'd say there was definitely growth there, right? For sure. You
Oh,
know,
definitely. They're complete. I listened to them. They sounded like a good band that was trying to break away from doing covers before
Goose-
the quarantine. Now they sound mature. Like they've stepped up into being musicians in charge of their own music. What you got, Llama?
No, right. That's what I was gonna say. So
Took the words right out of my mouth, Llama. Took the words right out of my mouth.
the thing with Goose, though, and the difference is that they're not at a point in their development and career where they're jumping like terrorists like that, right? Like Fish had these big breaks and these big jumps, whereas I think Goose has been steadily increasing over the last 4 or 5 years, right? And before that, it was what Llama called it.
I'll give you. I'll give you a story.
Their beta time. They're only in 1.0 right now. And before
Right.
that was
Oh,
beta,
there
as
you
Llama
go.
said earlier. I think that's what he was trying to get across.
I tell you what, in November 91, I saw Fish at the Bayou. 2 weeks later, they played the Capitol Theater in Passaic, and I never saw them play a bar again. They made that jump within a matter of 2 weeks, but it had been 2 years in the making of them playing New Hampshire theaters, and then in theater in New York.
Actually practicing and grinding it out and
Well,
shit.
do you
definitely.
think 25 years from now it will be like Goose 4.0 as it is for Fish 4.0? And do you think we'll look back at that time and be like, God, I miss Goose just jamming the shit out of all these songs, and now all they sing about is love?
No, I'm not going to put that curse on Goose, man, because that's the curse that all those fish fucks put on Twitter.
I think
They were like
Goose
the
already
first
does
year or
that.
two, they were big. Everybody was like into it and dancing, and everybody started comparing Mahali to Trey, and it put way too much on it, and it just tainted it and fucked their whole shit up. And now look at Twiddle.
But Goose
Right.
already does things like
Look at
Rosewood.
them.
But Goose does things already like Rosewood Heart that Fish had no songs 7 years in that were pure love song kind of things. The Fish were still like Maze and fuck you, and I'm gonna fucking
Yeah, but that was the '90s, man. You can't compare that. It's different
But you can
generations
compare
telling
them
different stories.
as two bell curves. You can
No, but
overlay them.
Kev, you got to look at the counterparts. While Fish was doing that in their artistic jammy way, was the same time you had like Pearl Jam and Nirvana, and like the development and growth of grunge. So in that context, when you compare Goose to the pop and bullshit that's out there now and all the indie stuff, they're considerably, more detached and on a different level. I don't know. I think that you're putting a lot more weight on the generation and the nostalgia than,
I'm not. I'm just saying if you took both their careers as bell curves, when Goose is done playing and Fish is
it's a
done
weird
playing,
conversation.
they would overlap at the points where they started to go up and get bigger. If Goose is going to hit doing Fred Fest, there's 60,000 people showing up and no tickets, then they're on a trajectory that they're going to hit at some point, or they're not going to hit it. It's going to trail off to the tail end of the bell curve.
Okay, well, but are you judging them by the size of their venues? Is that what you're saying? Because like they're still like out here playing
everybody is
Fonda,
judged
which
by
is
the
a tiny
size of their
theater. Still.
Everybody's judged by the size of their venue.
It's not the size of the venue. It's how you play.
It's how comfortable it is at the rail. Fuck the people 3 people back. That's what really matters is the comfort level at the rail.
How many people are in line for early admission? That's what you're judged by.
As we keep going.
Look at that. Oh, poor Lotus. Weren't they the Breakfast Club or something at one time?
Who? I actually don't even know who the fuck Lotus is. But let's talk a little bit.
Fuck those guys.
About apologies. Let's say we're sorry. Listen, I'm sorry, guys. That
lots of apologies this week. What are you sorry for?
The Midwest guy.
I'm sorry, fellas, that I hate Lotus so much, and I also am sorry that I pitched a really, I don't know how much you guys are gonna like these woo blockers, but I'm sorry that I did that. And I'm sorry that
have you thought about boof blockers?
No, all right. Veto. But apologies are a hot topic. Let's just talk a little bit about, there needs to be like an apology school or like somewhere you can go that the number one, the first checklist on that is there's a level of narcissism. Yes, dirty, buy them. Yes, you can find them on wook+.com //
Yeah, they're right next to the pasties that we still haven't put out yet.
The pasties are coming.
But there should be, for one, should you make a public apology? I think sometimes there's a level of narcissism that people have that they believe that the public really needs to hear their apology, when ultimately that's something that they should just shut the fuck up and not really speak of again and again. So I'm going to start the conversation with that. Should you have even made this public apology? What do you guys think?
No, man.
It has to be coordinated with the person you're apologizing to.
You don't need to make No, you don't need to make public apologies. You need to apologize to the people that you are affecting. But the problem with that assholeries is that he can't confine or really quantify the amount of people that he is fucking. So, like, if you get caught in some scandal and fuck somebody's shit up and it's one-on-one, don't apologize to the public, because that's just about you and your ego. You go to the person and you make up for it. You make amends. But, this kind of general fuckery is like hard to do that. So that's why they got to do the whole public thing.
Right. And to explain this situation, someone apparently used a fake vaccination card, which I think is not shocking anyone. He was not the only one, I'm sure.
They were selling on Shakedown.
That's reprehensible to do.
It is awful behavior. That's number one. Check mark number one. He wasn't feeling well to begin with. I mean, is literally having symptoms. Okay, as he's walking into the venue,
He's like,
then
"Hey."
goes to the show, enjoys the show, hugs, and I guess has his way with the show. Then leaves the show. What? I mean, this is
You're not
asshole
being
fuckery.
hyperbolic at all.
Then leaves not feeling well, less well, takes a test, realizes he has COVID, then gets on YouTube and makes a public apology and shares this.
But he didn't make an apology. He made excuses. He never made an apology where he said, yeah, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done that.
So that's apology school number 2.
No buts in an apology.
That exactly. So the content of your apology. What's that, Llama? Yeah. Llama is good. Me and Llama, we've had to apologize to each other a lot, so we're pros at apologizing. No,
nothing Midwesterners love more.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's again apology school number 2 is check mark number 1. Should you apologize? Number 2, the content of your apology, and it needs to be nothing but sincerely apologizing to an individual, like you said, the people you affect. That ultimately, but you're right, this pandemic makes it difficult when you have literally effed over everyone, 14,000 people. So again,
grab your ankles, motherfuckers. I'm coming in.
But I'm sorry, and I love everyone that was there, and we're blessed that so many of the folks that we know close that are okay.
Or if they got it, it wasn't bad because a couple people said that they.
Yes, so it's a blessing. But what I also want to do is laugh hysterically at this clown that made this video, because it is one of the I'll never forget it as one of the most ridiculous moments in internet history. I mean, just a clown.
I didn't actually see the video. Was it real sad and pathetic?
No, he's like, my name's Josh. I fucked everyone over. So thanks.
Yeah, it wasn't even that good. It was just, and the thing was, he was actually sick during it. Like he's coughing, during.
Oh, that's so fucked up.
Parody. You would think it was a parody the first 10 seconds.
Like some bullshit you'd see on this fucking channel.
No, we wouldn't go there. We wouldn't go there.
No, but it was, it was like, yeah, it was a very Aaron Rodgers-esque. Like, it wasn't necessarily taking responsibility for what you did or admitting that you were wrong or that you're apologizing for anything. It was just sort of like, my friends for 20 years were mad at me. Other people are mad at me. Like I should have taken a test before, blah, blah, blah. And
that's federal shit. Anyway. Using a fake vax card is federal shit. It isn't state because the government is the one who issues that, the CDC.
Again, that is the best part. Again, more hilariousness is that ultimately if people, or if they had time or the resources to jack with this dude, is my guess, because there's 1,000 of these idiots out there making public videos and admitting to federal crimes. But literally, again, it reminds me of the Wire scene where he's like, you're taking notes on a criminal conspiracy. Literally, what are you doing talking about using a fake vax card and passing it off? That is not legal, bro. That is, again, that's number 3. Make sure your apology doesn't admit to a federal crime.
They'll flip him, and he'll rat out the guy he got it from.
He's like Brad. But we could talk about some music too.
I'm gonna take a break.
You need
to go to a commercial.
You really should.
I think we need to. Just a quick one. All right, I'll see you guys.
Quick one.
Andrew wants to know if he's the only one watching this, and I assure you, you are, sir. You are alone watching us, and it's very awkward.
That picture's amazing. Is that a giant banjo he had there? That was crazy looking.
Andrew, I see his Facebook. He has a little Facebook thing there. Maybe he's watching from Facebook, which, if anybody didn't know and you like Facebook.
Oh, no, fuck Facebook, man. Don't plug that shit here. That's just a necessity.
It's not Facebook anymore, first of all.
Oh, it's Meta. Right. Meta.
Why do they gotta change their
Wait,
little logo?
There was a basketball player who already called himself that.
Yeah, Meta World Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. After he went into the stands in the at the palace, got in that fight.
When he on the Nuggets, which would be appropriate, I think he was on the Nuggets at one time. Denver
No, he was
was
on the
so
Lakers.
cool for calling themselves that. The Nugs, you know, they're
No, he never made the Nuggets. He was on the Lakers, and we're like he's on something else, but he was on the Lakers for a bit. Good old
that's a
Meta
great
World
name.
Peace.
That's a great name. That's some shit we'd come up with. Wook Meta Piece.
Look, Meta
The
Peace.
very first bit we did on this show was called the Meta Bit.
Yes,
That's right.
it was. And it was
If you go back to
double meta.
episode 1, the very first cold open, it was like,
Pacers.
know.
Thank you.
And
Andrew.
that's
I was
at
drawing a blank. It wasn't the Pacers.
wook+live.com/.
all right, well, anyway, I think what we're going to do next, if I get the signal, Llama, do something. All right, cool.
Man.
So, in one of our production meetings, so if you don't know, we meet every week, you know, for a little bit and shoot the shit and catch up and throw out bit ideas. And Llama's like, I got an idea. And they were talking about a band and I didn't know what they were talking about. And he started a pitch. I was like, don't tell me, show me on Wednesday. And I have no idea what the fuck they're going to do. I only know what it's called.
Live pitch.
Yeah. So whatever this bit is, we'll check it out.
Welcome to Bleeps
And bloops.
where we make you love all the bleeps and bloops one album at a time.
Oh, that's correct. And today we're starting with the Paige McConnell album, Maybe We Were the Visitors, released in 2021.
That album is bleeping good.
I told you not to make that joke, man.
I couldn't resist, man.
All right, fine. Well, what makes that album so bleeping good?
Dude, all of the bleeps, baby. The bleeps. You know that's what I need. I need the bleeps.
Stop. Where's your sunglasses, man? We can't do this without your sunglasses.
I'm sorry, buddy. I was at a Disco Biscuit show and I ate a Disco Biscuit and I lost my glasses, man. But
What?
Lots of bleeps, lots of oons, man. I was like,
No.
bleep,
This
bleep,
is unacceptable.
bleep.
I told you, my cousin divorced the guy who sells them, and we can't go back to him legally because of what the court said. So we can't get you replacement glasses. You need to find those glasses.
Okay, well, let's get back to this Page album, the bleeps, baby, the bleeps, man. That's what I need. I know.
All right. Yeah, you're right. That album did have some dreamy bloops too. Those bloops were A+.
Dude, it's the bleeps, baby. Oons.
No.
That's what you need.
No, the bloops are A+. That's what it is.
Yes. Boom.
But
boom.
Again, we let the
those
people
bleeps.
decide.
Let's
let the people decide and listen to Paige McConnell's and let us know, do you like the bleeps or the bloops? And until next week, this is Bleep and Bloop for Bleeps and Bloops.
Nailed it. I love live music. And also, like you, I hate fees almost as much as I hate scalpers. So I'm making a promise to you today. If elected, I will make sure Ticketmaster has to refund all fees charged to you and me as consumers since they started. And I will make sure scalpers are persecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I've been working outside the system for 30 plus years, and I know what needs to be done to these lowlifes at Ticketmaster, Axios, and StubHub. So this year, vote for me, Kevin Hogan for Congress, man of the people.
Paid for by Wooks for Kevin Hogan for Congress.
So close.
Guys, I like your new bit. I still have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, but
It was beautiful.
Bleeps,
The bleeps, baby, the bleeps. You need them.
Will you guys be taking requests to review from the audience, from the chat?
We have lots of things in store for Bleeps and Bloops that we don't want to give away.
Does
That's right.
anybody honestly know what you guys are talking about? Like,
Special guests. We'll have special guests. We've already got several guests lined up for Bleeps and Bloops. I'm telling you, it is going to be something special. So stay tuned.
I'm really curious. I'm really interested to see this upcoming week when I get feedback, because people always like message me and shit, and they either give me like, "Oh my god, that was brilliant," or "You guys like," they, you know, in the DMs they're a little more brutal than they are out. But I'm curious to see the feedback I get about Bleeps and Bloops, because I honestly still don't understand what the fuck you're talking about.
We're talking about the
clue.
bleeps and bloops.
I
DM.
totally get it. I totally get it.
My
DM,
wife's down.
It reminds me
DM
of my days when I used to go to raves.
drink back in the day. Isn't that a back in the day thing when we drink?
I
Don't
guess
we drink?
it is. I went to Starscape once and saw DJ Love Groove something play
Listen,
the
Kev,
Beatles at sunrise. Just like Fifth.
Speakeasies were not called raves, dude. Those are speakeasies. You were sneaking in. I know it felt like a rave at the time because it was sneaky, but those were a little.
If the sun comes up,
Some wild jazz you were listening to,
if the,
Ken.
sun, if the sun comes up, it's a rave. That's
Oh,
my line.
geez. Here we go. But yeah, please go ahead and DM at Weekend Wook and let him know that you loved Bleeps and Bloops and that you think this is rising to the top of the charts.
Thanks, fam.
You know what? If you like bleeps and bloops, make sure you like and subscribe to Woke Plus for future episodes of bleeps
Smash
and bloops.
that button.
Bleeps and Bloops. Like this episode, subscribe to the channel. All right.
Tell your friends. Tell your mom.
So what I want to talk about, I think, in the second half of the show, or maybe now we're back to like the heart of the show, right? This is just one really long intro. We're in this weird metaverse. It's trippy, but the segment we're at now, I wanted to kind of look back at the fall and the summer and 4.0 as a whole, and kind of what we made of this past year, how they've grown and developed. You know, what was your highlight out of the shows we've seen, and I don't know, close out this first leg of 4.0.
Has everybody gone back and listened to some of the shows from fall or anything from summer and stuff, and
Yes.
on re-listen, sort of got another take or a different view?
I usually don't listen again. If I hear something once, I usually don't go back and
Ever?
listen again. Ever.
That
No.
explains a lot.
That explains so much.
There's too much music out there I haven't heard. Why would I want to listen to something that isn't going to change?
Because it'll change for you.
Hold up.
Oh, so you're saying the environment matters as much as the product itself.
Yes,
Well, I will
man. The
say, listening to a show,
perspective and
you were-
perception is 100% of the game. That is
And listening to a
100% of the
show-
game.
you were at, I mean, you always miss stuff when you're live at a show. So like going back and listening to it later, first of all, it always usually sounds better because you're not as like
There.
the mix is better, like whatever, you can hear it better. So it's like usually a little
Hold
better,
on.
and you're not in whatever state you were in when you first heard it. So I always like kind of listening to the shows I've seen at least once or twice back, just to kind of, you know, make sure I heard what I heard and I liked what I heard, or I didn't like what I heard, or
Mama,
whatever.
what do you think?
I'm calling bullshit on the whole
Fuck
reason
yeah.
why you're doing it. Because wouldn't you listen to a single more than once on an album, but you've already heard it? Why would you need to hear it again if there's so much more music out there?
Exactly.
Why would you listen to the same single twice? And I'm pretty sure you have.
Oh, I have, but I'm saying I try not to. I listen to a Fish show and I'm like, all right, this jam was good, these two songs, and I may listen to that again. But to throw on a whole show and listen to it front to back, I don't do it.
That's fine. I mean, I'm not going to judge the way you do it.
Just writing this down on my bad Kevin takes list.
I went back and re-listened to the entire summer and half of the fall. I haven't gotten all the way through the fall yet. I've listened to Vegas like 3 times though, especially Halloween. Like that set too, I've listened to a bunch of times because
I listened
every
to
time
that
you
again.
hear by
I
something
listened
new.
to that one again. I listened to set 2 that night.
Yeah, so you're full of shit. Your take before
you're already
was
going
based
back on
on
what you said.
truths.
Lies,
But
I tell you.
what I just said is I didn't listen to the whole show.
All right.
but I do think,
Guys,
and
I
I
skip
think
the encore. It's not the whole show.
the question is, and I think this is what happens at the ends of like tours, and especially
Days.
when you, oh, this guy again on the list,
Focus, man, focus.
on the list.
Disregard the comments. Focus.
That's
T,
hard.
can you not bring comments up on fan stalking?
No,
He's
it's
like a
the worst.
puppy. He's like,
Yeah, it's terrible. But for realsies though,
what are we even talking about, fam?
no, I remember. When you have kind of the end, a kind of a culmination of a fall and summer tour, you can kind of start to have a summation. You can kind of start to go, okay, like where, like, how does it feel to you? Was it a solid, like, what did it mean to you? Like, was it one of the tours you would have put up there and one of your most favorite tours ever? Or is it one of those tours?
I don't think normal human beings have those thoughts. I think there's a very special breed of Fish fans that follow
I
that
can walk
logic.
away. My reaction, I listened to every show of the whole tour, is that it was up there with 5 best tours they've ever done.
See,
Without
that,
listening to it again.
Wait, fall or summer?
Fall tour.
Fall tour.
Wow.
Top 5.
That they've ever
No.
done. They broke down boundaries. They really started playing as a unit on a totally different level because it
That's
fell
such a
apart
bold
so many
version,
times.
Kev. Like, I don't disagree. Like that. I agree that it was a good tour, but that's a super bold assertion.
no,
Well, people are going to go back and be like, "Were you at this show?" And I'm going to be like, "Yeah, nah." And Travis is going to be like, "I was there. What's up? Yeah, talk to me."
I think the mistake in some ways though would be to limit it to fall, and I would say that kind of the
Different band.
then fall and summer.
Yes, because of the Trey debacle with the COVID and Fishman playing with him in the 5-piece, it totally took Fish in another direction that they wouldn't have gone.
I think they were kind of heading in that direction, and I think
I'm
that
over
Halloween
narrative.
actually had a stronger influence. I think I don't know, has this been revealed yet or discussed with Trey, or is this still in the whole guessing of when they started writing Sci-Fi Soldiers and what influence that had on the samples and the sound effects and the pedals?
No,
Right, because I think that the fall tour was like the set 2 of a really cool show to start off 4.0, right? But you needed the summer to give you that really exciting set 1 to be like, oh yeah, it's Fish and we're here, we're doing this. Like, we all universally across the scene got comfortable again with life and Fish and music and community because of the summer tour. And that's what set the fall tour up to be as great as it was. You can't look at it you can, but you shouldn't look at it, with shutters, because you need to have the summer in order to have that fall.
Sure you do, but you have to have that bridge.
Yeah.
If Fishman hadn't have joined Trey for those 4 shows,
It was a great bridge.
It would have gone a different direction.
You know what, Kev? I think you might be right.
See,
Love this
I don't know. To me, all the seeds of like what ended up being fall was all happening in summer. What in some ways maybe you could say is that it's a level of refinement that happened. And I think it happens in some ways regardless of, what happened with Trey Band, personally, in my view. Like, and it was starting to happen. Every show here and there was doing some different things when it came to kind of, stretching out different songs. The set lists were in different order. You had, again, all kinds of things happening still, even in summer.
The sets were in reverse order a couple of times too, not just the set list within a set, but they felt like.
Trey Band did a 4-song first set the first night Fishman was with.
Dude, that Tab tour was fucking insane.
I feel like the end of summer tour was when they really started kicking it into kind of the gear that they continued in fall tour, like the Gorge through Shoreline, which was just fire, and then into Dick's, which was amazing. Like that run, and then into Tab tour, and then picking up kind of in the fall. It took it a little bit. Like night 1 Sacramento was a fun show. It wasn't exactly the most technically sound show, because night 1 is never really
Shoreline is definitely the peak of that.
But then you jump into like San Francisco night 1 and you get that Carini and you get that Frankie Says and stuff, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, they're kind of, wow, what's happening? This tour is going to be something fire. And it just kind of continued. Like, I mean, every show you can kind of point to at least one or two, maybe three songs in each show that were kind of special. I mean, sometimes even more than that, and depending on who you are or what you were looking for, or what you wanted, there was a little bit of everything for everybody. I kind of felt like that whole
I haven't
tour.
looked at
Like,
set list. I haven't looked at set list and been like, what the fuck? Why weren't you there in a long time? And I watched those shows, look back at the set list and was like, that's what I want. I want an act solo with a fucking 20 minutes tacked on the end. I want fucking Brian and Robert to go on, you know?
or like an 18-minute
Frank
Carini as an
Sinatra,
encore, like when
yeah.
you know, like an 18, like that's insane too. And then like even opening the second set with a loving cup going into like that Mike's Hydrogen Pog was, you know, like it was just a fun different thing.
Do you guys ever think of Fish as like two different entities? Sometimes like there's the music technically executing things, and then there's the creative, you know, trolley gag side.
Yeah.
And I feel like when it comes to technical execution, they were coming into the summer even at a higher level than they normally come into a tour, and
Lots of
really
practice.
took off. I don't think that the fall was necessarily technically executed much more than the summer, but
That's
where
why
there
I
was
love
a
it.
noticeable jump was the trolley and the creative construction of the
How
shows
many
and the
times
sets.
did it fall apart? That's the Fish I love. When all of a sudden Fishman even drops out for a second because he's like, "What's going on?" And it's
You
nothing but
love
larger
that?
feedback. That's what I want. I could listen to that for
You're
hours.
sloppy, Kev.
So
You
you
are
really like-
sloppy.
So like that Chula Piper is what you really got off on then in the summer tour,
Yes,
right? Like
yeah,
that
that
was
kind
your
of thing. Yes, the
your
Simple
thing.
from Deer Creek. They got into
Mhm.
this really dark, fucking weird passage, and I was like, "That's where I live. That's my home."
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. So, number one, here's the thing. What to me, again, all these things are accurate, but what was happening in summer and kind of late summer, like Trav was saying, and really kind of by Deer Creek to me was moments of this, right? But it wasn't happening over full shows. Like they hadn't really figured out kind of how to like the 4.0 vibe and sound and what they ultimately, I think, kind of the rhythm they found by the end. And so I think like things like the Deer Creek Simple, that is straight out of like the fall tour. You know what I mean? Like if you segmented that out of there and said, okay, like
You could graft it on the right. You could graft.
where
it
did
into
this
the fall tour,
happen?
right?
But what it didn't do, and Deer Creek Night 1 is not a good example because Deer Creek Night 1 to me is right up there with any of the fall ones, you know. But even all throughout to me summer, there was moments of this, right? But then it just really got there by fall, you know.
Yeah.
What you got, Llama?
So, would you guys say that, like, traditionally there's a difference between summer and fall Fish? You know, they're like two totally different bands traditionally.
Yeah.
They're playing.
Well, they're
for two
different
crowds.
venues traditionally too. Although when you're in
Right.
California, I think it's different venues in a whole different way.
vibe. I think it was, I think that was part of it too. Was it was a different, I mean, whatever West Coast, East Coast, but it just felt like a different. I mean, who knows if it would have been the same had they been touring Eastern.
They're southeast,
too,
but they always go. They never. Typically, I think they haven't been going in the Northeast on the fall. That's when they take advantage of either the Southeast or the West Coast, or
and end up in Vegas for Halloween.
right. So, like, there are several fall tours that I feel were superior than the preceding summer tour. I feel like that's a fairly common occurrence.
Mhm.
Right, but I think this year the fall tours were outdoors for a stretch of them. A good stretch were outdoors.
Yeah,
that
but
was
that's how it
new.
is on normal fall tours. Like when they do the Southeast, they usually hit like Alpharetta, which is outdoors, and
I think summer tour
Yeah.
is more gimmicky. Like in '98, they did a new cover every night kind of thing, and then fall tour is all right. Let's get ready for Halloween or New Year's that's coming.
summer tour is summer stage, and fall tour is rock concert. It feels more festival out there in the shed, like
Yeah.
you're drinking beers at the summer stage, and
Plus
that's a
it gets
very
dark
cool, but
later.
different vibe than I'm going to a fucking rock concert.
Yeah.
And that's what the fall tour is, and they fucking jam out rock concerts.
And
I
like
mean, they're
not
both
one
rock
fall-
concerts, but it's
not
different.
one fall tour show starts before it's dark. Like it's always dark for all the fall tours starts, which is different than summer because
Has a
sometimes you'll
huge
still get a little bit
effect
of
on outdoor
sunset
shows.
or a little bit of a light still in there before the
Get that
nighttime
divided
hits.
sky when the sun's setting.
Yeah.
That's always so perfect.
Yeah, so it's a little bit, different, but there's a lot to be said for outdoor fall shows. I love that, just sort of that the atmosphere and like being outdoor when it's not quite summer and it's a little bit cooler but still nice out. It's great. It's such a nice vibe. It's cool.
Such a good time of year.
Why is Kevin getting allowed to talk trash on Summer '98, which was an absolute
I did not
phenomenal-
talk trash. I said it was a gimmick that every night they did a different, and that's why you went. You were like, "What's tonight's song gonna be? What the fuck are they gonna break out?" And you were fucking wetting your pants waiting.
Yeah, but they do that shit all the time, man. You can't tell me you didn't go into Dick's thinking that they may do some gimmick set, and then you can't say
no, not at all. But I'm saying that Dick's is the end of summer tour for one thing, but the fucking like
This is
the
true.
'98 tour, that was like part of the thing. You know, you went to Star Lake and they broke out "Time Loves a Hero," and you're like,
The
Mama
95
saved
chess
me.
game was a good gimmick.
"Yes, it was." In the
what's your
fall."
favorite gimmick?
My favorite gimmick
Yeah, what's your
was
favorite
summer of
gimmick?
'98. Them doing all those fucking cool covers, Sabotage.
You're a weird way of expressing affection, Kev.
Right.
Jesus, just because I say gimmick, you all are taking gimmick in the negative. Gimmick
Yeah.
isn't negative to me. Gimmick is what you use to sell your product, and that's
It's-
fine with me.
No, I
I
think
like
gimmicks are
good
fun.
capitalism.
I don't think we know anything about gimmicks here, Kev.
And that's the beauty of it, because you never know night from night what you're gonna get. Is it gonna be a gimmick? Is it gonna be a pure rock show? Is it gonna be an interesting like flubby whatever? Or you never know, and that's what's interesting and that's what's fun and that's what makes them so unique and special is that sort of thing and where they're playing and what they do in that arena to sort of play with that, like getting like in Phoenix, the poster was that awesome alien poster. So you kind of figured you were going to get a mule, and sure enough, you get that mule. It's kind of those things of like, what are you going to get in certain places that maybe they'll do or maybe they won't do, and that's always the fun of it too.
They have to give you enough of that so when the other shows where they're not doing that, you're still speculating.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They got to feed the beast enough to the fan base so that we're.
The other show though, you want your simple that's 30 minutes like at Deer Creek.
I want 98% to be raging, funky, fun dance fish that's gimmick free. I
So
do
no
not
ballad?
want gimmicks to overtake fish shows. It
What
needs to
about
be a small
ballad?
percentage.
And a great point of that were back-to-back nights in the fall tour when they played Chula, which I felt like was such a pure fish show, like open with fluff, kind of the NIC throughout, that Piper, like it was such a, like that was a fish show.
Chula?
And then
You're
go to
talking
the
about
Forum,
Chula?
and then you go to the Forum the next night, and that was like a rock and roll show. Like that was just a down and dirty,
LA
like fucking
woman.
blow the doors off the place and let's fucking rock. And-
Doors, I get it. Blow the doors off the place.
no pun intended, but it really was like, it was pretty like, and that was a really unique thing of back-to-back nights. And then you go to Santa Barbara and then you get this other kind of like mellower, fun under the stars, like outdoor show. And then that leads us into those 4 nights of Vegas.
The Wadi Amiritis loves what's he say? The one song is like jazz, free jazz, drift while you're sleeping or something, or beneath the sea of stars.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
He
Kev.
always talks about beneath the sea of stars as being free jazz.
We got to cut this for the blooper reel.
Real easy.
Free dabs. What was that? Free
But on
dabs?
top of all of that, look, we'd be remiss not to mention CK5 again, like I always do every show, and bring up how awesome he is and the things that he does from show to show, and the way those lights tell a story upon themselves. And those things always kick ass, regardless of how the band is playing, regardless of how they sound. The lights are phenomenal. And somebody brought it up on Twitter today. Beneath the Sea of Stars in Santa Barbara, he turned all the lights off and just like let us sit there under.
There were
with it, and
actually
it was
stars?
beautiful. Like it was such a great moment. Like it was so cool. So I mean, those things are always awesome. And regardless of the band, you're always there to see the lights, and those things always give you a good show. So, I mean, that's always on.
He made up for Dick's when they did Beneath the Sea of Stars and it was cloudy.
The worst song placement ever. But I feel like that's kind of why he did that. He was like, fuck you, Kev.
He was trolling.
You can't see a star in the sky, but
knew
you're
I
going to
was
listen
there,
to
yeah.
this.
God,
You knew you were sitting down in those bleachers and you really needed beneath the sea of stars to really get your juices
You
flowing.
really needed some Zeppelin, some
I
Robert
needed
Plant.
some Zeppelin is what I needed. So let me ask you, T, what do you think of Goose's light guy?
You know, I'm just starting to get into it, but I'm super impressed. I don't know, that video I saw today of the curtain thing and
Andrew
stuff.
Getty.
Yeah, it was impressive as hell. And so, I mean, there's definitely there's stories to be told there. And I think
I'm so
you know,
glad
it's
that Llama's
interesting
Town
because
is
you
good.
never really used to think about a rock show with great lights, or you know, it used to be kind of like pyrotechnics and like sort of what can
Unless
they
it
do
was
to like
Pink
sort
Floyd
of
and
shock
then you wanted a pig.
but then you get like suddenly now it's this phenomenal like light show you're getting with all these different crazy, movements. And I mean, even Halloween, he had that rig over the first few rows of the crowd that was like moving. It's crazy just what he does and the control he has. But I mean, I'd love to see Goose as they get bigger and play bigger arenas and get out of the bars, as Kevin likes to say. Hopefully they can expand that light show too and make those lights something special and really get like the rig set up better and whatever. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes too. I mean,
I want a live
love it.
report from KC because Fam and Llama are actually going to go see Goose.
Yeah.
That's on one of the Wook Wednesdays, so we'll figure out what we're going to do
Next
then.
week.
It's
Next
going to be
week,
the Goose
Wednesday.
lot, but we aren't
Yeah.
going to tell you when it is.
Yeah, we'll figure
We
something
want
out.
you to
We'll let
watch.
you know. But no, after that, I want you guys to let me know, how it
lights
looked
are?
this
Yeah.
time.
How it was.
I'm
Are you
super
planning
excited
on?
about it.
Are you planning on going up to the rail for the show, or are you going to hang back?
I'm gonna hang back with the rest of the old people.
Yeah.
Get by the
I'll
light
be-
guy.
Yes.
Right in front of the soundboard. Best sound in the house.
No one's behind you. It's fantastic.
I'll be like singing "Careless Whisper" as loud as I can
And
because
thinking
I've
of
always
Loop.
because I've always that seems like a great cover choice for them, and I just think like if I was doing the vocals, then it would really just set it to another level. So I'm thinking no one will care if I'm just during all the jams. I'm just kind of insensibly singing.
I want to love
Careless
as a
Whisper.
battle.
Greg's going to send somebody out to talk to you, Fam.
Yeah.
They might.
He's
well,
not able to come out because he don't want people to see him talking to you when you're doing that. He's gonna send one of his cronies out. They're gonna they're gonna
Coach,
tap you on the
With
shoulder,
you
like, sir.
backstage.
they're gonna
Get
send
that
Coach
shit
after
out.
me. Coach is gonna kick me out probably. but
Yeah, man, you're
I know.
out of there.
I
And Lana's
know,
going to be
that's
like, I
fine.
don't know that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're gonna represent. We're gonna represent the Midwest. We appreciate any shows we get, and we're raise them like
Probably more than the
wow.
fucking people on the West Coast do.
well, that's why the Midwest gives you a good time. They show you a good time because they're so grateful you showed up. Out here, it's like,
Jesus.
you're here again. I guess I'll go see you. Oh man, I gotta get a babysitter.
Is there a shakedown at Goose shows?
Yes, it
Yes.
is. It is.
Yes.
It is one dude selling knockoff Tommy Hilfiger polos and like jumpsuits.
And
When I
Wook+live.
saw him from
Are there, more importantly, my real question is, are there balloons post show at Goose shows?
yes.
$60.
What?
2 for 50.
fuck?
2 for 50.
No way. It should be the
Listen.
other way, fam. It should be 2 for 10. You're like, come on, we gotta lower
Oh
the
no
price today.
no! See, they got to get the premium that hit
gotta
strike while
build
the
it
iron's hot.
in.
The East Coast gas.
Exactly.
Only in Philly is it 2 for 60.
Oh, Philly, of course. Philly's got.
Hey. So one thing I want to do over the next couple of weeks, because we're gonna do this show or some variation of a show every Wednesday through the end of the year, is check in with you guys about anticipation and thoughts of New Year's, because I want to see how rumors and lexicon and public discourse affects your opinions. Right now, it's pretty clean, right? There's not a lot of speculation or rumors circling yet because we're only in the beginning of November.
I have a
Well-
speculation.
Well, I know that's what I'm setting up, Kev, and I'm nearly
Right.
there, and I'm going to let you go first because I know you're raring to go. But no, so I'm curious, as Kev just alluded to, what you guys are thinking at this point we're going to see on New Year's Eve.
I think they're going to dress up like a hair metal band and do a set of new songs that are all hair metal songs.
There's no way they're doing that. That is such a Halloween gag. Although this year's Halloween gag was a very New Year's-esque, right? With the production of it.
They ain't
And it
doing
was a
shit.
full like 4-night run of gimmicks and like leading into that, or 3 nights, I guess,
Right.
leading into the 4th night of like
No,
things, which
2
was
nights.
fun.
2 nights. Because it's the first is the last show.
Well, right. I was talking Halloween though, was 3
Oh.
nights leading
Oh,
into
right,
that,
yeah.
all gimmicky. So like this year, I don't think, and I think since they did that for Halloween, I think New Year's will be more of a straight run. I don't think they'll do
Oh, no.
something like that. I think it'll
Pam
be
takes
more
so many notes
fishy.
during the show and never takes any notes during any of our meetings.
Yeah, it's
We have meetings and he's always like, wait, what did we talk about?
bad Kevin takes. That's a hashtag. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just again.
No,
this
I
is my
think-
this is my bad Kevin takes notebook, and that's where that hair metal guest for New Year's Eve goes.
And
Along
when they
with
do it, everyone's going to be like, wow, Fish did Aldo Nova's Fantasy. Unbelievable.
You
Oh, yeah,
somehow also managed to speak of a hair metal band that no one has heard of. Apparently, that's a local Baltimore hair metal
No,
band.
this guy was French or English. Or
Oh, yeah, that
something
guy.
over
Yeah,
there.
that
Everyone
guy.
loves them.
That guy.
His name was
Love them.
Aldo Nova. He was
Here's the
Back
deal.
in
Yeah,
'89.
French.
New Year's Eve right here. I'm going to slowly reveal. Here you go. Are you ready?
Life is just a fantasy, and you live that fantasy.
Oh,
right?
bloops and bleeps.
Bloops and bleeps coming out again.
How did
goes
you have
Graham.
that prepared? We
Fish
didn't even
goes
talk
Graham,
that we were going to talk
exactly.
about this. It's
Bloops and
amazing.
bleeps.
I
Fish
saw a
goes-
thing on
no, I
Instagram.
like Fish Goes Glam better.
What'd you see, Llama?
Oh, I just saw a thing where the year that the sci-fi soldiers came from is the same number of days between the start of 3.0 and the beginning of the New Year's Eve run. So I think they're hinting at something that has to do with
The
9/11.
continuation, the sequel, the Empire Strikes Back of the
No.
sci-fi soldiers.
Back to the Future 2.
That's a very
We gotta come
goose
and
thing to
resave
do.
I definitely think, to your point though, Llama, I definitely think we're going to get some of the Halloween shows played on their regular instruments, which is going to kick ass, and everybody can stop bitching about.
Can we
those
get?
of us that didn't
Can
like
I pitch
it.
an idea after Kev goes? Because
Yeah,
I
can
just
we-
thought of a really.
But I just really want to hear that one song. What's that one song?
That one?
from.
No, yeah, that one. I'm glad I
That
let
one.
Kev go. This is great. Llama fam, I want you to write this idea down. Hopefully, if you like it, but for your podcast or your new bit, we got to cut bloopers and call it bleeps and bloopers.
Bleeps and bloopers, okay.
And it's just maybe that's the bit. Is it's just bloopers of bleeps and bloops, but you never actually see what bleeps. And
Two
Oh,
bits for the
bloops are.
price of one.
We have a whole plan of bleeps and bloops. It's
I don't
alright.
understand what bleeps and bloops are. I have no idea.
But what's that one
Dude.
song? What's the one song?
It's this. Listen, here you go. It's right here. Oonts, 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 That's the bleeps, baby. You really don't need the bloops. Don't worry about the bloops. Focus on the bleeps, man, and that'll get you where you need to be.
Holy shit, man! You know we're having fun when my cheeks fucking hurt.
I want Carini into whatever that song is.
Oh, we're gonna go back to the analytical show.
I'm a
It's
genuine asshole.
We have ADD and we can't decide if we're gonna be analytical or ridiculous.
No, I'm a genuine asshole. What song is that?
Don't doubt me.
Oh,
doubt
Kev's
me.
trying to set up the new button, which I appreciate, but I can't find.
But he's a genuine asshole.
I forgot I had buttons, man.
Oh, man.
Carini into that to open the fucking New Year's run.
I think we'll definitely get that in spaces. Like it'll definitely be in jams. I think you'll definitely get those lyrics in things for sure. Like for sure. And it does kind of have a Carini vibe to it. So I could totally see that being an
And
in
it
or
would
an
be a
out of
dark
Carini.
Carini instead of one of these happy, blissful Carinis. It's about a dead dog. Come on, let's get
I
fucking
want-
ugly, you know?
I want to interrupt for a second because there was actually, you just reminded me of something I wanted to say, and we're running out of time. We have like a minute left, minute and a half. But I feel like Halloween is grossly underrated right now. Sci-fi soldiers and the work and effort and creativity and fan service they've done with that music, not only tying Cosmod Vox, but Thrilling Chilling and Game Hens right through Wombat. This, if you draw all the lines through it and understand what they're giving us with it, I think it is severely underrated at the moment.
Yeah.
Agree.
The Wombat and Wilson is the guy who discovered the Wombat.
Yeah.
And not only that,
Wilson.
but just looking at them playing in those outfits for that whole set with helmets on and in that thing is grossly underrated. Like you don't understand how hard that must have been and how hot that must have been.
And
in
those
that,
suits,
in
they
that
were
arena
body
doing
suits.
that.
Speaking of suits and hot, next week, can we write a bit that doesn't involve me wearing a sports jacket? Jesus, man. I look like a
Taking that
fucking
shit
tool
off
the whole
hours
show.
ago.
You look professional. It's a professional show.
It's
Oh my
PRO
God.
professional.
I knew you were gonna do that. I
crap,
couldn't
you
find.
know
I
that.
couldn't find the credits fast enough.
Join the bloops and bleeps team. You just got to pop your collar, baby.
All right, you need to like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, that's dope. But come over to YouTube, like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. We got a bunch of fun shit planned out. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Well, I tell you, that was really the shark that I was looking to do business with.
Woo blockers? Yeah, I don't know if that was a good investment.
This investment is something I think they're really going to be happy with.
That's a really minor investment. No, I mean, like, I'm not even going to notice that. That's a really minor investment. Yeah, but what a fucking dumb name.
Woo blockers are really the next generation, the next thing, the next big thing on lot. So I thank that shark for investing in me.